He sat on the same bench every day. Until one letter changed everything. A heartwarming story. Before we begin today's story, I'd like you to think about someone you haven't spoken to in a long time. Perhaps it's an old friend, a family member, a teacher who once believed in you, or someone you loved. But life slowly pulled you apart. Have you ever thought about reaching out? Maybe you've told yourself, "It's too late. They probably forgot me. It wouldn't matter anymore." But what if one simple letter, one small act of courage, could change not only your life, but someone else's as well? Today's story is about an old man who spent years sitting alone on the same wooden bench in Copenhagen, Denmark. Most people walked past him. Some smiled politely. Others never noticed him at all. But hidden inside his worn leather bag was a letter he carried every single day. A letter he never had the courage to send. Until one ordinary afternoon, a curious little girl sat beside him and asked one simple question. "Why don't you post it?" That innocent question changed everything. So, make yourself comfortable. Take a slow, deep breath. Relax. And let's travel back to the beautiful streets of Copenhagen in the early 1960s. Every morning, just as the church bells rang 9 times, an elderly man named Erik Andersen slowly walked through King's Garden carrying a small brown leather satchel. His coat was old but neatly pressed. His shoes had been repaired many times. He walked with a wooden cane that clicked softly against the cobblestone paths. Without fail, he sat on the same green bench beneath a tall chestnut tree. The birds seemed to know him. The gardeners waved. Children often ran past him chasing pigeons. Tourists took photographs of the colorful flowers without ever noticing the quiet old gentleman sitting nearby. Yet Erik came every day. Rain, snow, bright sunshine. It never mattered. He always came. Inside his satchel rested a single envelope. Its edges had become soft from years of being opened and closed. The handwriting had faded slightly. But Erik protected it carefully. Every morning he unfolded it. Read it silently. Folded it again. Placed it back inside. Then watched the people passing by. No one knew why. Many years earlier, Erik had been a talented carpenter. His hands built beautiful furniture admired throughout Denmark. He loved his work. He loved his wife, Anna. And he adored their only son, Michael. Life seemed simple. Until one argument changed everything. Michael dreamed of becoming a musician. Erik believed music could never provide a secure future. "You need a real profession," he insisted. The conversations became arguments. The arguments became silence. Eventually, Michael packed a small suitcase. "I'll come back when you believe in me." The front door closed. Erik expected him home within days. Days became months. Months became years. Then, letters stopped arriving. Anna often urged her husband, "Go find him." But Erik always answered, "He knows where home is." Pride can be a heavy burden. Heavier than we realize. Years later, Anna became ill. Before she passed away, she whispered one final request. "Don't let pride steal the rest of your life." Those words echoed in Erik's heart. The very next day, he wrote a letter. It wasn't long. It contained no excuses. Only truth. "Dear Michael, I was wrong. I cared more about being right than about understanding your dream. If you can forgive me, I will be waiting. Your father." He sealed the envelope. Addressed it. Bought a stamp. And then he couldn't post it. What if he had moved? What if he hated me? What if it was too late? Fear quietly defeated courage. Day after day, year after year, the letter remained in his bag. One sunny spring afternoon, a little girl wandered over to Eric's bench. She wore a bright yellow coat and carried a sketchbook. "My name is Sophie," she said cheerfully. Eric smiled. "I'm Eric." She noticed the envelope. "Do you read that every day?" "Yes." "Why?" "It's a letter." "To whom?" "My son." "Did he answer?" Eric looked away. "I never sent it." Sophie frowned. "Why not?" "I waited too long." The little girl tilted her head. "My teacher says tomorrow begins with something we do today." Eric laughed softly. Children often speak wisdom adults spend years searching for. The next morning, Eric walked to the post office. His hands trembled. For nearly 10 minutes he stood beside the red mailbox. Finally, he slipped the envelope inside. The letter disappeared. For the first time in years, his satchel felt strangely light. Weeks passed. Nothing happened. Then one rainy Tuesday, a young postman arrived at Eric's small apartment carrying another envelope. The handwriting looked familiar. His heart pounded. With trembling hands, he opened it. "Dear Father, I never stopped hoping I would hear from you. I wanted to write many times. But I believed you no longer wanted me. I forgive you. Please come and see me. Your son, Michael." Eric could barely read through his tears. Several days later, he boarded a train for Aarhus. As the train slowed into the station, he looked through the window. A man stood waiting on the platform. Grey hair, gentle smile, a violin case resting beside him. For a brief moment, neither moved. Then Michael stepped forward. "So, you finally sent it?" Eric nodded. "I'm sorry." Michael smiled. "I know." Father and son embraced. Years of silence disappeared without another word. Sometimes, love speaks louder than conversation. Michael had become exactly what he dreamed of becoming. A respected violin teacher. His students adored him. He introduced Eric to his wife. Then, to a little boy. "Grandfather," the child said shyly. Eric's eyes filled with tears. He had missed many birthdays, many holidays, many ordinary moments. But life had given him one extraordinary gift. A second chance. Back in Copenhagen, the green bench remained beneath the chestnut tree. Eric still visited. Only now, he wasn't alone. Sometimes Michael joined him. Sometimes his grandson fed birds nearby. Sometimes Sophie came with new drawings. One afternoon she asked, "Was the letter worth sending?" Eric smiled. "It was worth every year I waited." Then he paused. "But I wish I hadn't waited at all." Life has a quiet way of teaching us important lessons. We imagine there will always be more time. Tomorrow. Next month. Next year. Yet many beautiful things begin the very moment we decide to act. One conversation. One apology. One letter. One phone call. One act of courage. That is often all it takes. Moral of the story. Pride builds walls. Love builds bridges. It is never too late to say, "I'm sorry." "I forgive you." Or simply, "I've missed you." The hardest letter to send may become the greatest blessing of your life. If you could send one letter to anyone in the world, who would it be, and why? Thank you so much for listening. If this story touched your heart, or helped you improve your English listening skills, please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who may need encouragement today.